Yo my slimes, today I'm going to be giving you 5 tips on how to get better at Rainbow Six Siege. These are going to help whether you're a new player or a returning player, and you'll be on your way to becoming the best there ever was. And it all starts with this video, but you have to like and subscribe. Okay, so my first tip is to stay patient with the game. Siege is going to test your patience to the max, because there is no respawns in this game. Once you're dead, you're out of the round. So it can be very frustrating when you do get picked off early that you will have to sit out for the rest of the round, stay on cams, but we'll get into that a bit more later. The main focus here is that you need to stay patient because there is a lot of learning to be done. What I would say with this patience, what you need to do is if you're dying a lot, you need to look at where you're going wrong. This patience is what's going to help you improve as a player, help you get better, and climb the ranks so much more faster, rather than someone that's just getting easily frustrated and rage quitting. What you need to do is keep a clear mind, don't get tilted too easily, and just reflect. Just think, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? Maybe it's my positioning, my movement, my aim, etc. You just need to reflect on what you've done wrong so you can do better next time. I won't go too much into mental and keeping a clear mind throughout the entire game. That can actually be a guide on its own because there's so much to it. But the main takeaway here is to stay patient. You're going to be dying a lot. Just keep that in mind. And what you need to do is just reflect, just look at what you're doing wrong. So quite a deep one to start off with, but we'll move on to the next tip, and that is to learn the maps. Now, learning the maps isn't something I can teach you right here in this guide because there's so many different maps and different sites that come with each map. But what I can tell you is just give you my advice on how to learn the maps a bit more effectively. Now, this is going to help even if you're a returning player as well, because certain maps have been reworked, such as Consulate, so you're not going to be able to recognize them from the good old days. But yeah, my advice to you is to just jump into a custom game, run around the map, so you can get a better sense of what rooms are connecting to what, and how the game will sort of flow. Now, this can be quite boring to some, including myself. I don't like to do that to learn new maps. Personally, what I like to do is just jump in a quick game, or an arcade free-for-all team deathmatch, so I can constantly respawn and just run around without a brain, but just get a sense for how the map is actually played and what rooms connect to what and what lines of sight you can actually get. Now, this is something a little bit more suitable for customs, but what I would recommend is just checking out which sites you can actually vertical, and by that I mean shooting it from below or above. Certain sites you can shoot out the floor or the ceiling and get cheeky lines of sight on the enemy. Now that's something would be quite hard in a free-for-all team deathmatch, so I would recommend trying out a custom game just to do that, and just pick Buck or Sledge just so you can create a lot of destruction, open up floors and whatnot, and yeah, you can just check out lines of sight and what you'd be able to see in an actual game, pretty much. So we move on to my next tip, which is about aim training. What I would recommend is just diving into your settings and just tweaking your horizontal and vertical sense as well as your ADS sensitivity as well. This isn't something you're going to get right first time, as it's something you got to get comfortable with, you got to get used to it. But if you feel like you're over aiming or under aiming, try and tweak it just so you're in that perfect spot, and then you can refine it and get used to the sense you've set it to. I've also made a guide on how to change the multiplier so you can get more precise sensitivity. Check that out if you'd like. But yeah, once you've tweaked your sense, what you then need to do is test this out. Now, Siege has the perfect game mode for this now. After 9 years, it's finally got an aim trainer. The shooting range is a relatively new mode to Siege, and they've finally updated it as well. So it's basically aim labs. You can shoot little balls and just test out your sense with certain guns, attachments, whatever you'd like. And you can actually customize the aim trainer as well, so you can turn them into dummies, you can have them move, different stance, etc. Very helpful, and I'd really recommend using this when you're getting used to your new sense. I'll give my personal opinion on this as well. I don't use shooting range as much as I should probably. Before I jump into any ranked games, I like to just have a little warm up in a free-for-all. That way I can actually test my aim on real players that are moving the way real players would. And in a free-for-all I can just constantly respawn and just keep warming up. Now obviously free-for-all is going to play differently to ranked or standard, as it's a lot slower pace, but this is just my opinion and what helps me get warmed up. It's also worth mentioning they have like a little map training mode now. I've not really used this, so I can't say too much on it, but you basically just run around the maps, get used to the rooms, also be good for map learning, and you shoot dummies whilst you're clearing out these rooms. I've not used this too much, but I'd recommend checking it out, I guess, as it may be really beneficial to you. My next tip is to just give you a basic understanding about site setups when you're defending. This is quite a specific tip for new players, I know, but it has to be said. New players, I've noticed, will just reinforce any wall they see, barricade any door they see. And in this tip, I want to say, don't do that. You don't have to reinforce every single wall and barricade every single door, because what you will learn, that lines of sight are going to really help you out when you're winning those rounds. And by that I mean some walls are not meant to be reinforced, they're actually meant to be broken. And this can be done by using head holds or feet holds, so it makes it awkward for them to walk past as well. It all depends on the room, the map, because line of sights are key in this game. And yeah, other than line of sights as well, some walls need to be rotated as well. It's a big no-no to reinforce in between sites, as there'll be 2 different rooms for each site you play in. 90% of the time you're going to be rotating between them. So you'll use a shotgun or impact to create that rotate instead of reinforcing the wall itself. If you're unsure if you should reinforce a wall or door, whatever, it's good to ask your team. Now I say that like they're going to help you. Don't completely rely on the Siege community. It can be very toxic. So don't expect help all the time. But this is something you'll just learn as you get on through the game. You'll learn where the rotates go and what walls are reinforced specifically. This is just a basic understanding about site setups, and you'll learn this as you go, like I said. And what I would recommend doing is just watching certain videos as well and just take note of how they've reinforced the site and rotated it, etc. Not every site setup is going to be the same. Some are going to be different. Some players prefer to have it a little bit differently. For example, the rotates. Some rotates are usually team dependent, but majority of the time they are a standard. So the main takeaway here, because I did just waffle a lot, is to not reinforce every wall. Some walls need lines of sight which are used for head and feet. Some walls are rotated with an impact or shotgun. And to get a better understanding or idea of how the site is set up, watch other people, watch videos and site setup guides as well. Bloody hell, I just waffled there, didn't I? Sorry. If I've lost anyone along the way, I apologise. We'll move on to the final tip though, and that is to use intel. Intel is the key to this game. It is everything. So we'll get a little bit more specific then. When you're in defense, cams are your best friend. So a quick tip is at the start of the round, just hop on cams quickly. See where the attackers have spawned, because this is going to get you a really early idea of where they're pushing from and what operators they've taken as well. These default cams generally get taken out quite quick, but throughout the round there are still cams inside the building, and these are also going to help you determine where the attackers are pushing from, what rooms they're taking, which will just give you a better idea generally of how the end of the round is going to look. It's going to prepare you for when they start to push towards site. If you have this intel, you're ready for them. It's up to you if you want to flank, do whatever you want, hold the angle on site. That is your decision, but at least you have that information to give you that choice, rather than them just walking into site without you knowing and catching everybody on your team off guard. Now, default cams aren't the only cams in game. You can also use Maestro cams, Valk, Mozzie drones, Echoes as well. It's these extra gadgets you have to keep in mind as well if you need a little bit more information in the round. Now for the attacking side, drones are your best friend here. So unlike the attackers, you don't have cameras, but you do have drones. Now these drones are going to be a massive help to you when you're taking map control. You have to take map control if you're getting towards objective. It's just essential. Getting that map control is what gives you that freedom to set up for the attack. So you need to clear rooms. You need to take these rooms one by one as you push towards site. So this is where the drones come in, and there isn't much explaining to you. You just throw the drone down, you check the room out. Don't be lazy with it as well. Check the corners, because you do get some cheeky defenders like the kill hiding in random little corners that will use your laziness to their advantage. Now keep in mind, you don't want to waste too much time on your drone as well. It's good to get some help from the team to clear other rooms as well. And that doesn't mean you need to clear every room in the building, like on the opposite side of the map, just the general route you're going to be taking. Obviously, be wary of flanks as well. Drones are going to be very helpful for this as well. Now, again, attackers do also have additional intel gadgets such as Zero also known as Sam, he actually has cameras that he can shoot into rooms and also drill into the opposite side of the wall. Very useful. Now, there are obviously more intel gatherers such as IQ and whatnot, but I won't go through them all. The main tip here, the main takeaway, is to use intel. It's going to help you get through the round and make it so much easier as well to win. Just try not to be lazy with it. Take your time gathering that intel, droning, or looking at cams if you're defending. Anyway, that has been it for the 5 tips. I hope these are helpful. I feel like I've waffled quite a bit, so I'm sorry if this is boring, if I've lost you. Let me know in the comments, because I don't know if I should be spewing all this information out, if it's too much, or I should keep it like a little bit more shorter. Just let me know what works best. I don't actually read off a script or anything, I just say whatever comes to my head, which might be a bad thing. Be sure to like and subscribe if it did help though, and follow me on Twitch. I've been streaming a lot on Twitch recently, so if you want to see me live, come join me there. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.